rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for the coppers will settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light from the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The forever burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. Rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for the coppers will settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light from the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The forever burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. Rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for the coppers will settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light from the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The forever burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. Rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for the coppers will settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light from the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The forever burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for the coppers will settle ashore. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not give by. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. Rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for the coppers will settle ashore. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not give by. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. Rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for the coppers will settle ashore. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not give by. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. Rise and stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate, with steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war, for the coppers will settle ashore. Populism's fire ignites the night, and your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not give by. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar, for America first will. rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war. For the coppers will settle the shore. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fervor burns bright, the kneeling and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar.
That was flirty.
And that was when? About what year was it?
I mean, that was through. We've heard that. We've heard that throughout.
Senator, you just said. Thank you so much. I want to clarify because in the beginning,
No, I know we'll go back there. Yeah.
In the beginning, you said when you first heard these rumors a few weeks ago, that's when you called him. Then you said you've heard these rumors for years. So which one is it, Senator?
So I heard rumors of him being flirty.
And that wasn't an issue enough for you to not trust him to watch your kids or be close with him?
Because you hear this, and then when you're close to somebody, and you know his wife, you see this, you see that relationship, you know that like it maybe just isn't true.
Have you asked him about it prior to this few weeks?
I asked him about it a few weeks ago when it started coming up online.
And you
Yes.
did that.
Why, when you
Yes,
ask him
right
about
there.
it, if you're running his campaign, sir?
That she had no idea about these rumors circulating about him.
On the third occasion, I believe he drugged my drink. I only had one glass of wine. We were supposed to go to a political event, and he said he needed to get paperwork from his hotel room. When I arrived at his hotel room, I was already incapacitated, and I couldn't move my arms or my body. He raped me, and he choked me. And while he was choking me, I lost consciousness. And I thought I died. I did not consent to any sexual activity. Although I did not undergo a rape kit at the time, I disclosed the assault to the people closest to me. I also recorded these events in my handwritten calendar. The assault and its impact were later documented during my therapy sessions at a sexual assault center in Connecticut. It had a profound impact on my mental health. I self-medicated in an unhealthy way. I did not want to live anymore. I cried all the time for years. At the time, I was in a dating relationship with a boyfriend I was fully committed to. I've never cheated in my life, and I would never have engaged in a consensual sexual encounter with Eric Swalwell.
That's it, my white boy. You looking good for me. Yeah, cry for me. You my bitch now. You hear that? Nah, please, nigga. I can't take it. You can and you will. You mine. Check. That's it, my white boy. You look good with these braids. You my bitch now. Don't you forgive it.
All right, welcome to the Killer Carl podcast on a Tuesday night. Clearly, Eric Swalwell is a complete and utter dirtball. Like any of us really doubted that for any minute. We all knew it. Mr. Me Too. And you know, there's plenty of other senators and congressmen in D.C. that are exactly the same way as Swalwell. I have a feeling we're just beginning to unearth the debauchery that happens in Washington, D.C. Now, we've got joining us tonight the one and only Tim Skillett and my main man, Big Tony Speaks, stepping in tomorrow morning for James. I appreciate that.
Oh, it's no problem.
Thank
Well,
you.
unexpected, but no problem.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
You know, I know Skillet appreciates it.
Yeah.
You know, I was gonna say worst case scenario, Skillet, you'd have to move it up to 6, and I would join you. But
I know.
you know, oh well, it all worked out, and in the end, that's all that matters. So apparently, we've got Eric Swalwell today on the floor of Congress, reading his resignation letter. So that scumbag's toast. Now, the angry Cabbage Patch woman, Katie Porter,
Yeah.
looks like she's eyeing up that lead position now. One could only hope. I mean, I know Steve Hilton is probably sitting back and going, God, I hope I have this lunatic to deal with. I'm sure he was probably wishing Swalwell would have just stuck it out like a typical Democrat. But obviously, the Democrat Party wanted Swalwell out, right?
They cut him loose.
They did. They went all in big time. And I'm getting a little bit of an echo. And, you know, it's funny because Nancy Pelosi was asked about it. And she's like, no, I knew nothing about this. Right? I knew nothing about this. Yet his buddy there that I played in the cold open, you could see the pictures when Swalwell had the hooker on the bed. You could see the side view. It was clearly him.
Oh yeah.
Clearly him. That's the guy he went to Egypt with, right?
Right. We're on the camels in their underwear.
Yep. On the camels in their underwear. God knows what the hell else they were doing.
Oh, they were he was his campaign manager for his presidential race. So
Right. And he unequivocally stated that was not him in the video. So
yeah. He's got a lot to answer for. And Swalwell's landlord kicked him out of his house in DC today. So his sugar daddy told him to hit the bricks and gave him a bill for $1 million for renting the place.
Well, just think, the landlord probably gave him some papers. The Democrat Party gave him some papers, and I think his wife is going to end up giving him some papers.
Oh,
right?
Without a doubt.
I could be wrong.
Oh no, without a doubt.
She'd
And
be incredibly stupid not to.
yeah,
God. I don't know how I lost you two, but let's bring it back on. I'm
Here I
not sure.
am.
I'm not sure how that happened.
I didn't do anything. Big
No, you know what? It's restream. It glitched. Go ahead.
Let's see. In New York City, Manhattan, they've got an investigation on Swalwell,
Yep.
and LA has an investigation on Swalwell. You'll see, though, the District of Columbia have an investigation on Swalwell because his little mansion, I got a feeling, but it wasn't his house. It was a sugar daddy house. I think it's probably got a few videos in that place. You know,
You think how stupid are you? How stupid are you? I mean, this dude was pulling a Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Right? He was pulling a Bill Cosby, not giving the pudding pop, right? He was giving the old Mickey and the drink.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you heard that woman in the cold open. Clearly, she was horrified by what happened to her.
Oh, there's going to be so many that come out.
Yeah, and the sex worker in the video
Was underage.
was quite obviously blitzed out of her mind on something.
And from what I understand, she was supposedly underage.
Oh,
That was
I'm
put out
hearing
by-
I'm hearing that the person actually taking the video was underage.
Okay, was underage. For some reason, I thought I heard today that Anna Polina Luna put out that the
Yeah,
that
it
the
was
girl,
a
the
it was
actual
a
sex worker.
female. It was a female taking the video and was underage, from what I'm hearing.
And whose idea?
That was Anna Polina Luna.
Yeah, you know, you're right. You're a U.S. congressman.
Right.
At what point do you think this is going to be a good idea to record yourself with a sex worker groping her up? Like, you don't think that that's not going to be used as blackmail against you? You think you're that powerful that
He's
at
a
some
Democrat.
point,
He's a Democrat. He believes that because he's a Democrat, nobody can touch him.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I mean, he was handpicked by Nancy Pelosi and groomed by Nancy Pelosi,
and she threw him under the bus.
And
she knows when to cut and run.
Hakeem Jeffries had him on all key committees, even after the Fang stuff came out. So, I mean, he was well on his way, and he was accusing everybody else. He was accusing everybody else of doing what he was doing. And then he threw Kavanaugh under the bus with the lady who was, during his hearings. So,
well, we all remember the whole believe all women thing.
Correct.
I mean, well, yeah, I mean, you have Schwalwa out there, and I think my cold open from the other night had him out there talking about, believe all women, Me Too, Donald Trump, this, and here you are, dude, during all that, you're drugging women and raping them and choking them.
Yeah.
Yeah, choke that one girl unconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
My question is, this is going to have to spill into other people and political parties. I mean, see, the thing is what we had that Republican resign today too.
Well, Tony Gonzalez out of Texas.
Tony Gonzalez. Yeah. And to me, it's almost like the Republicans sacrificed somebody because the Democrats had to sacrifice somebody.
Well, they're looking
just to keep it tight.
Yeah, they're looking for another Republican because Surfaces McCormick, she's out, man. Johnson's going after her to reprimand her and get her out of Congress. She stole $5 million. Okay,
yeah,
she and her family stole $5 million.
Or expelled. She's being expelled. They want to expel her. Johnson said he's down to do that, which is good for him. I'll be honest. There's times where I really cannot stand Mike Johnson, and then there's times where he gets a little courage behind him, more so than Thune. Thune is just a piece of shit rhino,
right?
That should really be kicked out on his tuchus.
No, my afternoon news update with Panikin's rehab, and thanks for having us on tonight with Killer Carl. I did an editorial on these two, so this was extra. And Eric Swalwell, his district 14 is east side of San Francisco. He represents 739,000 people in the 2024 census, right? That's almost 1 million people. Now in the 2020 census, it was 761,000. So they've lost 20,000+ people just in a couple of 4 years. And even today, they probably lost even more. Okay. So this is East San Francisco. That's his district. Medium household income, $137,000. The average age is 40. So it's probably kind of a conservative Democratic area of San Francisco, the workers. Remember how I told you about
it's the working poor in California.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking
that hippie compound I told you about out of San Francisco? That's where that was, up in the hills. Sears Point Raceway. This is our friend, Mr. Marshall, that owned all that. Penny Marshall and Bill and Mr. Marshall. I forget his first name. Anyway, these are working class Californians, and that's who he represented. It's a real slap in the face. Now, Tony Gonzalez, he's in the 23rd district of Texas, 806,000 people, a little bit bigger than Swalwell's, but he's got 58 1,000 square miles or something crazy. It's some crazy district size that borders Mexico. So Gonzales, it's not very populated. It's like 17 people per mile or less in Texas, but it's a lot of people, 806,000. Both of these representatives, the staffer that had an affair with Tony Gonzales, she killed herself. So what the hell happened there?
That was the one with the boyfriend, right? The girl that killed herself, didn't she have a boyfriend or something like that?
I
or am I thinking of another one? There was another one.
So what I said in my editorial was, wait a second. This is horrible. This is worse than a crime. This is you're just supposed to represent your district. You know, you're there on their behalf because they're busy working, paying their taxes.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Having an affair is horrible. Mm-hmm. But drugging a woman, raping her, and choking her out is completely different.
That's criminal.
Yeah, that's criminal. I mean,
criminal.
You know, the woman killed herself. That's tragic. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not making excuses for Tony Gonzales, but we're talking about two different things here. We're talking about a willing affair between two consenting adults,
right?
And we're talking about choking somebody out and drugging them and raping them multiple times. So, I mean, they're both scumbags because they're obviously both married. But you've got two different things here, and you have a guy stepping down, this Tony Gonzales guy. You have him stepping down for things that half of Congress probably do or more.
Well, you can't say that until they release the slush fund. They
have
to release the slush fund.
And
they have to release it.
You know who kind of confirmed it? You had Matt Gaetz confirm this a while back.
Yeah.
When they were coming after him, remember Matt Gaetz said, "You know what? I haven't resigned my seat yet. I can still come back, and I can go on the floor and I can tell the American people, all these people that are sleeping with their interns and their staffers and all these things, cheating on their wives." You had the guy that was outed from New York. I forget his name. The gay guy that was a conservative. That was a reliable MAGA vote.
He was from
Santos.
Long Island.
Yeah,
Santos.
Right. You have him coming out now, basically saying the same thing. Like, you know, these guys. Most of our senators and congressmen are freaking dirtballs. I remember the great late Rush Limbaugh telling a story about what's that Kennedy
Ted Kennedy?
Ted Kennedy.
The lion. Ted Kennedy, the lion of the Senate.
Ted Kennedy and another one of these dirtbag senators would go to lunch at the same place every day, and they would have sex with this waitress, and they would call it a senator's sandwich. So this stuff has been going on forever.
Yeah,
right.
Ted Kennedy's the Kennedy compound in Palm Beach was unair conditioned, didn't have air conditioning, and you don't really need it except for a couple of months. And they're not there. They're up in Maine or Massachusetts during those summer months, but in the winter months you don't need AC.
Yeah, they're raping women up in Maine.
Yeah. No, he was a drinker, and he was horrible. It was horrible.
I mean, we're talking about a guy that drove a woman off of a fucking bridge and left her drowned and went back to the bar and kept drinking. But this guy is the compass of morality.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That was the Chappaquiddick. That was the Chappaquiddick incident. And basically what happened was that was Senator Smathers from Miami. That was one of his staffers, who was in the car with him. And heavy drinking, out partying.
Nobody saw it. I was driving around, and I noticed there was a woman in my car, and I got spooked.
Yeah.
So I had to go back to the bar and have another drink.
Yeah, she drowned, and he didn't try to save her, and she drowned. They had a club. There was a club in Washington, D.C. called the Quorum Club, and it was owned by this guy. And he was. I'll have to pull up my research. I got it in a box in the garage, but it was something. All the senators and congressmen would go to this quorum club, and it was like anything goes kind of bar. Kennedy had a girlfriend there.
Every no, I didn't, Joni.
Every
don't believe in Joni. I had nothing.
He had a girlfriend who was a girlfriend of a Momo, the mobster out of Chicago. Momo, okay? It was her girlfriend, his girlfriend. And Kennedy Kennedy had JFK had a way of talking to somebody that would make them seem like she was the most important thing to him at that time. I mean, he just had a quite a conversation lines, I guess.
Very well she was, because I was ever trying to get my dick wet, Skillet.
Yeah, and they would just
at
say,
that moment,
yes,
that was the most important thing.
Yes to Kennedy. Well, it got really serious, and there was a problem. I mean, Onassis, they said, Joe Kennedy said to Onassis, if you can't divorce the president of the United States, what can I do? And she goes, give me $1 million. And so that was the first million that went over from Joe Kennedy to Jackie Onassis. Now, all this is unsubstantiated. It's rumored. These could be fairy tales told by grandparents. Who knows what the heck it was?
You got that right. Don't slander me in my grave, Skillet.
I know, but it's horrible. So what I'm saying is, you mean these senators and congressmen, when they get elected and they go to Washington, that there's not some sort of orientation? And this guy Poindexter comes out with his glasses and he said, there'll be no fornicating of staff members or interns in offices. That is strictly against the policy.
You got a wink.
I don't know what they're doing. Can someone
don't do it in the offices? That's why that situation in the conference room happened. They couldn't do it in the office.
Yeah, the Senate in the Senate session hearing room during COVID, the two gay guys that filmed it. They filmed it.
Exactly. They couldn't do it.
Who wants to be the person?
I was thinking of that, Big Tony, today. I was saying,
be the guy that has to sit down and use that desk that some homo's getting his ass slammed on.
Oh man!
I mean, come on.
Come on! They should be arrested and then somebody has to follow.
Imagine you're the janitor that has to go in there and clean that.
That's just wrong, man.
A freaking biosuit.
Well, can we at least get the transcript of Congress representative training so we can kind of highlight the area of sexual orientation in the offices and stuff?
Do you know what I truly believe? And call it a conspiracy theory, I don't really care. I think that our government uses these as honeypots.
Sure.
The CIA uses these
100%.
as ways to entrap and control our congressmen and senators.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, boys, have all the fun you want, but just know that you're going to do what we want and do what we say. And when it's time for us to dispose of you, if you don't go peacefully, we'll destroy you. And I truly believe, because one of the things that always sticks out in my mind is, do we remember little Mike Johnson? Remember how against the Ukraine war he was and funding it before he became speaker? He was always on the floor making these speeches against how we can't keep sending money to Ukraine and this and that. And then all of a sudden he gets Speaker of the House and they sit him down in a skiff, right? And he comes out and all of a sudden, oh, we gotta fund Ukraine. We can't let the Russians win. So it's amazing to me.
They're going to go to Paris. They're going to go to Paris before you know it.
Yeah, it's amazing to me how the 360 was done there. And as soon as I saw that, I'm thinking, what'd they do? Did they sit them down in the skiff and go, hey, I mean, and even if it's not true, the reality of it, even if it's not true, I say this all the time. When somebody hears something negative, it sticks in their head. Right. So your reputation is already tarnished. Even if months down the road it comes out that you didn't do this. I mean, for God's sakes, we still have people on mainstream media news saying that Donald Trump committed collusion with Russia, even though it was found not to be true.
100% false.
You know, and we have documentation of it. They still say it, right? And the reason they say it is because they know that certain people they have what they call clip mindset, right? Where you go on I don't know, let's say YouTube or X, and you just watch clips, and that's how you get your news. And the first thing you hear, instead of verifying it, it just sticks in your head. Hey, did you hear? Donald Trump thinks he's Jesus Christ now. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and by the way, I'm just gonna say that was in
that.
really bad taste.
Yeah, he didn't need to do that.
My guess is one of his dumb staffers that want to sabotage him again tweeted it out. It just seems like death by 1,000 cuts by these staffers.
Well,
remember,
Donald
it was a few months ago. There was some type of racist tweet. Do we remember a racist thing that was released on his Truth Social, and that went viral? And it was a staffer that did it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, Donald Trump himself said that he put out that tweet, and he thought it was an image of him as a doctor.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
that was what Donald Trump said.
I know.
They need to take his phone
I know
away.
what he said. I don't believe that's what
they need to take his phone away from him before he goes into.
You look at that. He's what, healing Epstein of what?
Yeah.
And why is he look like he's descending from heaven?
Right.
I mean,
there's
angels behind him.
This thing was Swalwell. This thing was Swalwell. Okay, so let's look at the Democratic candidate. So you had Eric Swalwell that was leading in the governor race, right? Then you had Katie Porter, former Congresswoman from Orange County, and she's a law professor at UC Irvine.
A lunatic.
She's the meanest person I've ever seen on TV before. She is
Could
so
you imagine
mean.
being married? Didn't she hit her husband in the head with a pasta bowl or something?
No, with hot mashed potatoes in a restaurant.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Restaurant.
That was the mashed potato incident. Yeah.
Right. And if you've ever been hit with hot mashed potatoes, or it falls on you,
it's like napalm.
It's like napalm. You can't get away from that heat, right?
No.
So Katie Porter, she's mean to reporters. This reporter did an interview with all of them, and she asked the same question. California has spent $14 billion on the high-speed train. Do you think they should abandon it now or spend all the way to $170 billion? And Katie goes, they all answered. All the Democrats said to continue the train, including Katie Porter. All the two Republicans, who's the cop, and the guy from England, they said no, drop the money. Joe Biden gave $4 billion to that process. The federal government had already cut off California, giving them any more federal money, and Joe Biden got into office, gave him $4 billion more to that train. Right? You can blame Joe Biden. All right, but anyway, the reporter asked Katie Porter the same question. We're already 14 million into the speed train. Would you want to continue it? And she goes, you better check the numbers. You better check your numbers. And she goes, what? She goes, 14 billion. She goes, that's not what you said. She goes, oh, I misspoke. I said million. I meant billions. That's right. You have to check your numbers. I mean, that's how this lady interviews with people, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, she's a real ball buster. Then you have Tom Steyer. Yeah, then you have Tom Steyer. Tom Steyer ran as a Democratic candidate for president in 2020. He's that billionaire, environmentalist, philanthropist, founder of Faro Capital Management and Next Gen America. He's a real ball buster too. So between the two of them, I think that's what did Swalwell. It was a hit job on Swalwell. End of story. Because somebody has to pay these women to come out. I mean, they're not doing it for free. They've been silent all these years. Where were they, 8 years ago? He's been in Congress 13 years. So 10 years ago, they could have come out. 8 years, they could have come out. 6 years, they could have come out, right? All of a sudden, Tom Steyer's throwing them a few $100,000, and then they come out,
Well, and that's the thing, I was looking for that Katie Porter interview where she basically tells it's like a montage, right? So she's sitting there and she yells at, I guess, what is it, a staffer
Oh
that
yeah,
walks behind her and just berates this woman
in her kitchen.
in her kitchen.
It was a Christmas message.
Yeah.
It was a Christmas message in her kitchen, and she berates the lady.
Berates the lady,
Yeah.
and then you have the other the other one where she's sitting down with the reporter, and the reporter's just like, well, we asked all the other candidates this, and they answered it. You're refusing to,
right?
And she's like, I'm ending this right now.
Yeah,
that's
her.
like, lady, do you not have like a I mean, and there's people that can do this, they're assholes behind the scenes,
right.
But at least they can kind of pull through an interview and try to be nice and stuff like that, right? But she can't do it.
I'd like to see Katie Porter, Clovershaw, and that heavy-set woman who did the 9/11 or not 9/11, the January 6th committee, right? I'd like to see all of them in a debate. Those three ladies in a debate.
Oh my God!
And throw some raw meat in there, man.
I mean, how about just like a wrestling match?
Oh,
what about?
And then Debbie Wasserman Schultz would be the fourth person, and those three would go up against her. They would like all turn and combine together into one big Godzilla, a big Godzilla. Godzilla!
Yeah, and off the top ropes.
Yeah.
What about an oil cage match?
No, I don't want to see Katie Porter all oiled up, Carl. I'm sorry.
Are you sure?
Yes. She just mean. Can you imagine? Can you imagine waking up? It'd be one of those things you wake up at 3 a.m, look over and go, get out! I gotta get out of here. Start chewing off your arm so you don't wake it up.
Man. Coyote syndrome.
That would be frightening. But yeah, I mean, I think Steve Hilton. I think he's got an opportunity. I want to show this real quick. So
he has no chance whatsoever. I mean, he has no chance. It's California. Hey, it's killer. It's California. They mail out all mail-out ballots. They count ballots for months after the election. Steve Hilton has no chance whatsoever.
My syndication company that I signed with is doing some branding. So they created some new
some promos,
some new graphics. Then
nice.
I like it. I told him I like it.
Oh yeah, man. Eagle in the flag. How can you go wrong?
Killer Carl radio show. Speaking truth. Defending freedom. I like it.
Big Tony, we're getting to meet Rush Limbaugh when he first started, This is going to be awesome.
I don't know about that. But yeah, I mean, so they just sent that to me, so that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
So they're going to do some jingles and a press kit. Start selling the show.
Yeah, man.
I like it. All right. So
now you know who else is running for California governor? That's Xavier Burchelli or Bekele or Burchelli.
That's the guy. That's what
he was the U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services for Biden, and he was and former California Attorney General.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, this guy with Tom Steyer and Porter, they were gunning for Swalwell. They were gunning for.
So, do you think? So you're just writing Hilton right off, even though he's leading the polls.
Yes, it's California. Okay. You're telling me that Nixon can win California again? You're telling me he's
what I'm thinking
more popular than Nixon.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Who was vice president to Nixon was vice president. Remember?
Yeah. Here's my thought process on this. Right.
Yeah.
So the Democrats are going to want to dispel this voting fraud issue. Right? They want to. Listen.
They'll be projecting if they do.
I'm telling you, they want to dispel this as quick as possible. And the only way you can do that is let Steve Hilton win, right? And then you have a majority Democrat Congress and Senate in the state. You can control everything he does. He's basically lame duck. And you turn him into another Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he's this media guy. I mean, if I were a Democrat strategist, this is exactly what I would do. Right, especially if I'm cheating. especially if I'm cheating, because this is the best way. Because let me tell you something. I believe this 100%. I believe they scaled back on the cheating in 2024 because they wanted to be able to say, look, what are you talking about? There's no fraudulent elections. Donald Trump won. And they started doing it the next day. As a matter of fact, I said that during the 2024 election that they were going to let us have this win and they'd scale back the cheating because they believe that Donald Trump's only a 4-year president. They can contain him. The Republicans were on board with containing him. We see that the way they act in the Senate, these scumbag senators, Thune, all of them. Ted Cruz is a traitor too. They can contain him and they can dispel, oh, what are you talking about? Election fraud. Look, Donald Trump just won. All right? He won. What are you talking about, election fraud? And then, right, you got 4 years. They look at it as those 4 years, they can browbeat MAGA like they're doing right now, cause us to splinter and divide by entangling Donald Trump in situations that a lot of his base doesn't like, right? So you start to deflate the base, splinter it off, lose the midterms for him, right? Mm-hmm. And there you go. They believe that's the end of MAGA. George Bush walks back in, takes his party back. I've been saying this for a while. I told you, I spoke with Professor Penn, and he told me he had dinner with George Bush, and he wants his party back. And that's what you're seeing. And that's why you saw people like Pence come out and cheerlead what Donald Trump did, right? Because that's just going to piss the party off. That's just going to piss the MAGA people off that you've got Pence, the traitor, Judas Pence, out there defending what Donald Trump did, congratulating him. You've got Lindsey Graham on TV, who the MAGA base absolutely hates, drooling all over himself, wetting himself, and dreaming of that table in Congress or Senate that he could have his way with that young man.
Well, I've got some thoughts on that. Big Tony, what kind of thoughts have you got on that?
I try not to.
You see, I think too much. I guess. I don't know.
No, I'm sorry, but I've said for a long time, if someone in government can say, presidents may come, presidents may go, but I still remain. And they have served under multiple presidents.
Yeah, your deep state, the swamp. That's what it is.
That's who's in control.
Right. But I'm just talking about what's 28 going to look like. Okay, we're going into the midterms. They're already starting to test Summer of Love. We've got uprisings in Washington, D.C., Chicago, Detroit. Last night was Detroit, D.C., at the Navy. They're testing out their communications, which is all by cell phone. They're getting some troublemakers, paid troublemakers by NGOs. We've already proved all this. This is all proved all this.
And the money never stopped flowing because they just find another way to facilitate the funds.
Different channels. That's all.
Right. And then they're going to come up with an event right before the midterms that is going to be like that Patterson guy in East St. Louis holding up his hands, don't shoot, or whatever that was. They're going to have some kind of event come up, and then all hell's going to break loose, where all the cities are going to board up their windows and doors and downtown and everything else. And you're going to have Democrats, take the midterms. And then what's the president? It's same playbook, same thing that's going to happen in 28. That's what I think is going to happen. And they need to nip it. Just like Barney Fife says, nip it.
I think you got a trifecta of things. I think you got a trifecta of things that are going to damage us, and we're seeing it right now.
I mean, Rubio is going to be the front runner. J.D. Vance is going to be the front runner. It's going to be good. But who are the Democrats going to run? They're going to run Pretty Boy, Newsom, right? But we're not going to get amnesia. Nobody's going to get amnesia about Newsom.
I don't see them running Newsom. And the reason I don't see him running Newsom is because I think he's damaged good too. I think that there's going to be all this fraud that's coming out in California. I think that's going to sink him.
Well, they're trying to stop it. They're trying to stop it. Any journalist that comes into California,
I saw that.
They're trying to pass a bill today. Any journalist that starts exposing the fraud, it's a felony.
Yeah, it's unconstitutional and will be challenged.
Possible to by exposing tax fraud,
right,
and government waste.
It's harassment.
How is that a felony?
It's harassment. Harassment. If you start asking a daycare center,
it's unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional, and it will be challenged.
Oh, yeah.
See what Nick did that was so cool, and you know that, Big Tony. He said, "Hey, where's the form? I need to fill it out because I have little Nick that wants to come here to your daycare center. Do you have a form? No, it's not for you. Your kid ain't coming here."
He's using that same thing with the whole hospice thing as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But these hospice fraud is all over the United States.
Right.
I mean, it's in Pennsylvania, it's in Ohio, it's in California.
It's horrible.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
It was such a great program, especially for elderlies who are alone. Now it's strictly, even the legit ones, it's just a pain patch. And you stick about 3 or 4 of those on you and you're dead. You're gone.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. April 15th, people are doing their taxes. You're sending that final payment maybe to the government, right?
You're pissed.
You're paying for this fraud. You're paying for illegal immigrants to get rich off of your hard work, right? And I always say this, it's like it's different if there's people in America that are getting these services and they need it. I have no problem writing that check to the government and contributing to society. I have no problem doing that.
Right.
But when I start to find out that you've got Somali immigrants that have Lamborghinis, vacation homes, and are just arrogant about their thievery.
Yeah, and they're sending $800 million through the airport, where if you and I had $10,000
million,
we get sent to prison.
Yeah, they're sending that out, and a portion of that is coming back to the Democratic Party.
70%.
A portion of that is coming back to Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar. How do these people get so rich so quick? Got to ask yourself that.
You
right?
bet.
That's our money they're stealing from us. Right? Yeah. Our country just keeps on going in debt. Right? Look at the debt clock. The debt clock right now is spinning like my electrical meter outside when my daughter is blow drying her hair in the bathroom for an hour.
Yep.
Right? And we could claw some of that back if we could get to the bottom and stop the fraud that's going on.
Yeah, but they're going to stop you in California. Can't do it. Fraud. It's going to be you're harassing the fraudsters.
All it's going to take, Skillet, is one journalist, whether professional or citizen journalist, one journalist to be arrested.
And arrested. Yeah.
One journalist gets arrested. Period. That's all it's going to take, and it will be challenged. And if it has to, it'll go all the way up to the Supreme Court. However, if the lawyers for said journalist play their cards right the entire time throughout that, going up and up and up, there will be an injunction stopping that law from going into effect any further.
Yeah, but
and so
what journalist would want that?
Right.
So that means anytime you ask a politician a question, it could be considered harassment.
Correct.
and you could get you could end up having a felony. It could be something as simple as, "Hey, Mr. Schwalwell, I heard you were with a prostitute gripping her up on the bed. Oh, sorry, you're harassing me." That's not the way there's no way that will hold up. I don't even think it would hold up at the Supreme Court in California. What I want to know is
it's completely 100% unconstitutional. So
what I want to know is what's happening with these ballots in Georgia.
Exactly.
I'm wondering that myself, really, honestly.
So to me, that's
I live here,
keystone.
and I'm wondering that myself.
There was
that's
a hearing.
The keystone that holds the whole house of cards together. If we can unpick that lock.
You ready? Okay.
Go ahead.
So there was a hearing. Okay. So you have to remember that this guy with voter GA, he's that Italian name guy. He's a computer. He's a huh?
Mario?
No.
Luigi?
Voter GI. Okay, so voter.
Luigi's in prison. Oh,
no, voter GA. Okay, voter GA. Anyway, he's a computer geek, a computer guy, and so after the hanging Chad, that's when all these electronic voting machines came out after the hanging Chad in Florida, and they were scanners, barcode scanners, whatever. All right, he was just saying, look, this is not the way to do it. You can trick all the paperwork, you can trick the way the computers think and process.
To demonstrate right there in the building.
So a judge, he was the only one out of all the court cases that got thrown out for no standing, right? His was the only one that started to get heard. And when they allowed them to start presenting evidence, the governor came in and said, you got to shut this down. So they shut it down. The judge was supposed to make a decision on to allow evidence. He never did. He went like 2-3 years, right? Yeah. So he still hasn't made a decision in that one case. Okay. Now, this case was Fulton County made an emergency motion to stop the FBI from having those ballots. They want those ballots back, right? So they made a motion. The judge heard it. He heard both sides. He heard the FBI attorneys and he heard the Fulton County attorneys, who happen to be some of these big time Democratic attorneys that, they do not want them to see the ballots because they're going to see where Runback's the company that prints the ballots. Runback's the company that offers contractors. They're going to see where these Runback ballots weren't folded, didn't have envelopes, and there were a lot of these, they were just extra ballots. Some say 1.5 million ballots of extra ballots that weren't mailed, no folds, all that kind of stuff, right? All right, so the judge heard both sides the other week, it was about a week and a half ago, heard both sides of the case, and he's going to make a decision. He's going to he ain't going to make no decision till 28. I'm telling you, these guys, they will not make a decision for years to come, guys. So hold your breath and wait for you to turn blue with these judges in Georgia going to make a decision, because they won't do it.
Well, and that's the problem we run into. All right. So we had all these ballots confiscated by the FBI. Right. There were certain ones missing.
Right. Boxes, 30, 40, 50 boxes missing.
We have heard nothing.
Right.
Since then.
Well, no, you had this court case. You had the attorneys for Fulton County, and you had the attorneys for the FBI, and the judge is going to make a ruling if they have to return the boxes or not.
Come on.
No, really. I'm serious.
First of all,
you think they haven't gone in those boxes yet?
Of course they have. They've probably made images of everything.
Everything.
The FBI has went through it. So why even waste your time with this? And here's the thing.
It creates confusion.
The thing is with this from the beginning, right? I said this with Joe Biden when he was saying he won, and everybody said this is the safest, most secure election in history. I said, well, then, Joe, if I were president and I was 100% positive I won, I'd say, let's see it all. Let it out there. I want to prove that I won fair and square, but nobody ever said that because we know it was rigged.
Right.
We know
remember that 2020 where Trump was ahead, and then at all 3 a.m. in the morning on all the swing states, all of a sudden Biden went up like that, and then he was ahead in all the swing states at about the same time.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing.
Just we've always said, explain that. And when as soon as somebody did that on YouTube, boom, your site was pulled.
Oh yeah, you were done.
You were an election denier.
Yep, because they don't want these things exposed.
Yeah.
Because they all utilize it. That's exactly why Brian Kemp and Brad Raffensperger were part of this process. Because I totally believe this. I believe there's a little game they play where, well, we'll let you win this seat, and I'll hold on to this seat, right? And that's how they do it. It's like a little game between the deep state in Georgia and all over the place, right? All these rhinos and Democrats, they're all hand in hand with each other. They're all part of corruption. They're all like Swalwell, where they're out there doing things they shouldn't be done. They all have stuff on each other. The Capitol Police, think about this, are the Capitol Police are the security for these Congress people.
Right.
You don't think they know what goes on?
Oh, 100%.
You don't think why do you think, right? Why do you think that guy that shot Ashley Babbitt could leave his loaded gun in a bathroom and not face any repercussion for it?
Right.
Why do you think he could shoot at a moving car? He shot at a moving car.
No repercussion.
No repercussions, nothing.
And after he shot Ashley Babbitt, he got a promotion.
Yes, he shot an unarmed woman.
Right.
Never said stop or I'll shoot. Never warned her he was going to shoot. He just shot. Now you have this cop.
And she was a veteran.
Yep. You have this ICE agent in Minnesota that shoots a woman that's plowing at him in a car, and they're calling for his head on a silver platter.
Sure.
The hypocrisy.
Yeah. But a 23-year-old journalist, podcaster, and the person who's been doing years of research in Minnesota, David, who's whistleblown, and the whistleblowers all got demoted, threatened by the Minnesota government, Tim Walz, and nothing is going to happen. Nothing's going to happen to him, but they are building a case on Tim Walz. He may have to take the fall for the whole $9 billion.
And he should. I mean, Ilhan Omar, what about her? Why does she get a pass? I don't understand this. That's where I have a problem with little Mike Johnson, is he's never willing to take any action on her.
She's going to go back to Somalia. She's going to go to Paris. She's going to go to Cuba. She's going to go someplace, and then she's not going to get back on the plane. See ya, you know.
She's going to be gone because they know they have her.
And her husband is going to disappear and go back with his first family and kids. It just, you can already write the story, you know. That I don't even think they're together. I mean, you'd have to show me photographic evidence that they're even together.
Well, you would want to see that?
No.
I'm just asking.
But you see, because he was in her campaign, knew her, figured out a way to make money.
Well, and you know what's
listen, here's a way that we can make $30 million together.
And you know what's so funny? She's this Islamic woman, right?
Always 3 kids with her first husband.
Always got the head, the hijab on, you know, on her head, walking around. But yet she cheated on her husband with this guy, right? She married her brother. She was divorced multiple times. You know, if she was over in Somalia, she would be probably stoned to death.
Yeah, she married her husband on paper. See, all this is just paperwork. She was still married to the first guy with the 3 kids, So she married the brother, all on paper, just to get him in for immigration purposes.
Just the adultery alone in Islam is grounds for stoning her to
death.
There you go.
To death.
America.
To death. That's what I'm saying.
It's like a playground for these people.
Yeah. On our dollar, by the way.
On our dollar, by the way.
How much money did it cost for Schwalwell?
They're laughing their asses off.
How much money did it cost for Schwalwell and his gay buddy to go over to where did they go again in the Middle East? Egypt. It was like $80,000 taxpayer money.
Yeah.
To go over there, right? And what grown men are on a bed with a woman together while one's like gripping them up? Like, that's the most disgusting.
They were having a sandwich.
Congress sandwich.
Oh, that's so gross, man. I mean, I like
maybe he was channeling Ted Kennedy.
I like pinning people. When I wrestled, I had 19 pins in a season. I never looked in the guy's eyes when I was pinning him, man. I tell you that right now.
God, I hope not.
Puppy dog
you gotta pay extra for that, man.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I wouldn't. If a guy would have looked me in the eyes while I was wrestling, I'd be like weirded out, saying, "Hey, dude, man,
I'm never doing this
look
again.
away, look away."
Skillet quit wrestling. Why? Because some dude
down, he reaches up and gives you a peck. You know what I mean?
No.
You know, Swalwell and that dude are probably doing some gay shit too.
Oh,
you know it.
Probably. I mean,
know it.
At this point, I would probably believe just about anything in regards to this guy. You know what I mean?
That's what somebody always told me about orgies. He said, you got to be willing to go all the way in an orgy. And I went, not me. I ain't willing to go all the way in an orgy. Sorry, not doing it.
Who would tell you that? And why? Do I want to know this story?
Trust me, you don't want to know it. It's like, nope.
Was it
not
Ted
this
Kennedy?
guy? Sorry.
Was it Ted Kennedy?
No, Ted Kennedy. Ted Kennedy.
Every skillet, you gotta be ready to go all the way in an orgy.
No, Ted Kennedy would take all his nephews out, and they were just, look. And I always told this to associates. I said, look, when we go to these business meetings, all right, we're out of town, you're away from your family. Have one drink in the bar, say hi to the associates, and then go to your hotel room, man. Do yourself a favor, because we got business in the morning, right? We got business. That's why they sent us on this trip.
Yeah.
There's always a drunk that's in the group, and that drunk wants you to drink with him all night long, because the next morning he gets up fresh as a daisy, because he does that every night.
Seasoned.
And you got your head in a bag the next morning going, what happened? What the hell did I do? Right? I mean,
why does my ass hurt?
Right. Exactly. So you try to tell
I shouldn't have went drinking with Swalwell.
You try to tell these associates that I lost a rep. I lost 2 reps in Canada. I lost 2 reps in Detroit because they went to Canada, to a strip club in Canada.
Oh.
I didn't get them back till 5 the next day. Had to get them on an airplane and then fire them when we got back to Orlando. Yeah.
That
Good
must
luck
have
with
been
that.
fun. That must have been fun.
Yeah.
Why am I being fired? I don't know. You disappeared and went to a strip club? I mean, I don't know.
You're on the company.
Are you going to tell my wife?
Yeah. It's like,
can you write me a letter?
Yeah.
That you're just shrinking the company?
Yeah. It's like, yeah. No. Ass. And smell their. But hey, it's because you can't hang without. And so Ted Kennedy was a person with a reputation of drinking a lot of alcohol.
I was Irish. What do you think?
An lion of the Senate. Yeah.
I could suck the ship out of a bottle, Skillet.
You know what? And that's not what they're there for. And I said that in my editorial today. These representatives are in Washington not taking care of their district with 739,000 people or 806,000 people. They're trying to take care of the world, and they're doing it on our dime.
So Saturday night, we have America 93 coming on with us. And America 93, I want to get into some of this Georgia stuff because he's there in the belly of the beast. I also want to talk about Bigfoot, but because I know Skillet loves Bigfoot talk. I want to get into the Bigfoot, but I also want to get into this Georgia and stuff, America 93. And if any evidence you have, bring it on with you, and we'll expose it all. Why not?
Why not?
It's time, dude. It's time. It's now or never. Because I got to tell you, every day that goes by, the clock is just ticking.
Well,
the clock is ticking on us not being able to fix any of this.
No, because they're super. They've already done it. The groundwork was they incorporated some larger. These counties have incorporated some municipalities into their counties, expanded their county borders, and they've become super counties. Maricopa in Arizona, Philadelphia. What county is that in Pennsylvania?
What do you mean?
It's got to be the biggest county in the state.
Oh yeah, it's huge. It's Montgomery County.
Okay, Montgomery. So they control the state, right?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I mean, you got Pittsburgh is huge. Mm-hmm. You got Philadelphia, which would be Montgomery County, which is mostly obviously Democrat.
Okay. You got LA.
You've got Philly, Norristown, all in that Montgomery County area. And then you've got like the Doylestown area, which is like outside of Philly, like right outside of Willow Grove. Mm-hmm. That's a mix of libtards and conservatives, but mostly what I call the guilty rich, right? They've had money, they've grew up having money, they've never mm-hmm. struggled. But they like to feel bad for people, but never do anything about it, right? So they're the ones that have. As a matter of fact, when I took my grandkids to the art museum down there, you see signs, keep ICE out of our neighborhood. While they have a fence around their fucking house, by the way, which is it's kind of comical.
It's very.
What I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do? Next time I see one of those signs, I'm going to walk up, I'm going to knock on the door, and I'm going to go, hey, yeah, I'm Carl. Yeah, I have 4 MS-13 members that ICE is trying to deport. Could you have a room they can stay in?
Right.
And can they stay in your backyard? Yeah. Can you stay in your back? Can they stay in your backyard?
They'll call the cops.
Yeah, because I see you have this sign, keep ICE out of my neighborhood, mm-hmm. And obviously you're on the side of the MS-13 gang member and the illegal aliens. You mind if they stay in your house, maybe next to your daughter's bedroom or something?
Yeah,
is that okay?
We need to go with you and wear 1970s clothes and black hair and just there you go. Bell bottoms.
How quick would the door get slammed in my face, dude?
But these super counties are the ones that control these elections, and when they have these mass county counting centers, that's when they just dump in all those ballots.
And the thing is, this goes back to where we need to, as Republicans, go and infiltrate those inner cities. We abandoned them. We let the Democrats have control over our elections, essentially, by abandoning those inner cities, mm-hmm. right? If we could come up with a Turning Point USA style, organization where we could go into those. And I've been talking to Professor Penn and Royce White about this. They're starting to do it in Minnesota, which is freaking awesome. But this is something that needs to be done all over, everywhere, right? Because if we can infiltrate these cities and we can get into the minds and hearts of these young inner city youth and show them that there's just a way better than relying on the government, using the example of when we had the government shutdown and how you lost your SNAP benefits. Do you really want the government in control of your housing and your food?
Right. But
wouldn't you rather have self-governance over that? I mean, there's simple.
But Carl, it's so much bigger than that. Okay, so what they do is they go out to these universities, these sororities, mostly, I hate to say this, but mostly minority sororities, and fraternities.
Yeah.
Right? And they pay them good money. Hey, you're a contractor for the elections. They're paying them good money. You're going to work in the counting center at these big mega counties. And then as soon as some guys like you and Big Tony and myself show up to represent the Republicans as a observer, they immediately go to the election supervisors and say, this guy's harassing me. He's big, he's wearing this peach shirt, kind of, he's got this light peach shirt on, he's harassing, he's got that funny hairdo, and he keeps saying that this isn't right. He's saying this is all fraud. He's harassing us, so you got to kick him out. And that's what they did in 2020. All those people started getting kicked out of all those counting centers, and then they put pizza boxes up and paper over the glass because they didn't want anybody to see anything. You remember how they moved the tables away because of COVID? And you couldn't see the ballots?
We can never allow that to happen again. You see, that was a very
that was all
strategic and unique opportunity that the Democrats and Nancy Pelosi, I swear to God, dude, they had to plan this with the Chinese. I mean, it sounds insane to me, but it's almost like everything just fell into place. The day Trump signs that agreement with China, the first case of COVID in the United States pops up.
Yeah. Well, our military was over there doing joint exercises with the Chinese. They all had COVID when they came back.
Yeah, of course.
And they got distributed throughout the whole United States.
And what prices has China paid for that?
Nothing. But it was all about money. It's all about money because you had to pay these college students enough money to go out there. Do you remember those counting centers? How they were just a bunch of young.
Yes.
I hate to say it,
dude. I'm telling you, minorities. When I was over,
and they had attitude. They had attitude.
Oh, dude, when I was over working
He's too close to me. He's breathing on me.
Yeah. When I was over there working the polling place as an election observer.
Mm-hmm.
The older lady was really nice, the Democrat. She was really nice, got along really well. But I think I told you guys a story. There was a young girl that came and was going to replace her. And man, she was mean. Young college girl. You're talking to him. He's the enemy.
Right.
He's the enemy. I'm not talking to him. I'm not sitting next to him. I'm like thinking, I said to her, I said, wow, you don't even know me and you're just completely judging me. Wow, that sounds real inclusive.
Yeah.
Sounds real inclusive and liberal and friendly, right? You don't know me. You don't know me from and the Democrat lady, the one that was sitting there with me, she's like, no, he's a nice guy. He isn't being mean or he's been very kind. He offered to go get me a bottle of water and everything. Very nice. But it's just the mentality of these young teenagers, not teenagers, but college kids.
Correct.
Because they've been indoctrinated
and paid.
They've been indoctrinated by radical professors that believe in the model of the communist Chinese and the radical Muslims, right? About the Red-Green Alliance of destroying America from within.
Yeah.
And
even Constantinople, that was on our history this week where it got defeated. Constantinople, the last stand of the Roman Empire. Hey, it had a wall. I mean, it did have a wall, and it took them forever to break down into Constantinople. They lost a major sea battle where the Arman, or the head potentate, he killed all the naval leaders that screwed that up. And the reason they did was Constantinople had this chain. You know how Nancy Pelosi always says, if we can't get in through the window, we'll climb over the roof. If we can't climb over the roof, we'll dig a tunnel and get up underneath it, right? That was the Battle of Constantinople. They had a chain.
Well, she was alive then.
There was a chain across the channel that would capture all the ships and not let it pass, and then they would throw fire on it and burn them up. Well, the Muslims, when they were attacking Constantinople, they brought the boat. They built smaller boats, and they brought them by land and bypassed the chain. See, that's what I'm saying. This has all been planned for 30 years. Okay, we have to stop the craziness. Stop these mail-in ballots. And today's report was that the Postal Service union, 400,000 employees, 300,000 employee union, they're demanding that they deliver the ballots because they're the ones who deliver absentee ballots. Because President Trump's trying to stop that. He has an executive order to stop any, the delivery mail-out ballots. Hey, you're not going to be able to vote. Go down to the election office in your county, pick up your mail-in ballot, and there you go. They check who you are. You got your ballot. No more 200 ballots going to one PO box. Oh, you have 400 absentee ballots going to one address. Yeah. Why? I signed up all these homeless people, and they come by and pick up their ballot. Yeah, well, you're not a distribution center. Sorry, you're not getting all of these.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
And that's the thing, I mean, as far as with
you don't think the Postal Service is involved with all of this?
Oh, you mean cheating with elections?
Well, I'm just saying they go to a house with 500 ballots.
Damn it, Skillet! I lost you again. What happened?
I have no clue. It just
Skillet. Come back.
Hey,
go ahead. Try this again.
Heard out loud. They go to a house with 500 ballots.
Once you said that, dude, it's funny. As soon as you started saying that, they cut you. It just went. Bloop. I'm like, what happened?
Hey, there's knocking at my door. There's authority knocking at my door. No, anyway. I mean, I'm just saying that's what
it's the FBI. Skillet, let us in. It's Eric Swalwell.
As soon as President Trump wrote that executive order, the postal unions were suing. Man, they're out of money. They're in the red. They've had to cut out making contributions to pensions and that kind of stuff, and they're in trouble. They need Democratic representation to survive. They don't need Republican representation to. No,
absolutely nuts. All right, guys, we're going to call it a evening for tonight. And I want to thank everybody for joining us here on the Killer Carl podcast. You'll be able to see Skillet and Big Tony tomorrow morning, right? On 8 o'clock a.m. in the morning. Tune in on Getter. And you can find their YouTube channel on YouTube at Panic and Rehab, and then follow Big Tony on all platforms. Big Tony Speaks. Big Tony Speaks on, you're on Rumble, YouTube, Facebooks, X.
You name it, I'm there.
Twitch,
Kick, all of it. You name it, I'm there.
Awesome.
Government watch list.
Oh, many. Yeah.
And Carl, if you email Big Tony my address or my email address,
I already emailed him the link.
Oh, I know that, but I send him the rundown so he has he can see what's going on in the morning.
Yep. I'll do that right now.
And then Big Tony, send me a email, and then I'll flip it right back to you. Okay.
All right.
So you want me to send him your email?
Yeah.
And then he'll email you.
Yeah, unless Big Tony wants you to send me his email. So
I don't even know where his frick. I don't email him the link. I usually just text it to him.
Text it to me.
Yeah, I mean, I know I have your email, but it's been so long since I emailed you. It's just easier for me to copy Skillet's email.
We usually just communicate in text, but
yeah.
Well, text. You got mine, right, Big Tony? What's your first 3 digits of your phone number?
330.
330. Okay, well, text me and I'll send you my email address or whatever, just so you have a rundown.
Yeah,
James never reads it.
Yeah, I'll get him your email address. I'll do it right after the show here, right after we're done.
And I hope James feels better. So there you go.
What, is he sick? He was on tonight.
Yeah, he was good. Perfect.
Yeah, I think he was on tonight.
His doctor's just sending him out for 105 tests, though. That's all.
Yeah, he's been feeling, pretty ill here lately. Having some issues again. He told me that he expects that very soon he's going to be back in the hospital like he was before.
Oh man, we don't need that.
No.
Yeah. I'm praying for him, and
he's a good dude. And everybody loves him. I went out to dinner with the family, and he has a fan, Carl. Carl, my daughter's mother-in-law, who is a really nice lady. Did I tell you this story?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we're all out to dinner, and she kind of comes over to me and she goes, I saw your podcast, Panicking Rehab. Your daughter gave me the link, and I said, "Oh, well, thank you. Did you like it?" She goes, "Yeah, I think James is funny." And I said, "Well, which episode did you see?" And she's a sweet lady, church 3 nights a week, 3 nights a week, very nice lady, does a lot of church stuff, very nice people. My daughter's so lucky to and my son-in-law is wonderful.
All right, they're probably not watching this, but go ahead.
Yeah, it was jerking off 21 times a month to reduce prostate cancer. It was that episode. It was that episode. She says, I thought that was so funny.
Well, there you go. It's always, I mean, you could have predicted it, right? I mean, it's always that one. Which one did you see?
Yes.
Oh, the one where you talked about beating your dick 21 times.
Which one?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The one where you said you hate Jews. What? No, that was not us. You were looking at something else.
Yeah. No, I played it. I can play it for you again.
Yeah.
No. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night, Wednesday night on the Killer Carl podcast, 8:00. But don't forget to tune in if you're on Getter to Skillet in the morning. He'll be on with Big Tony at 8:00 a.m. sharp.
Thanks, Tony.
All right, catch you guys later. God bless.